Okay.
All right, we are live.
All right. Well, I'm Becky Bolaño.
I'm Tanya Whitford.
And I'm Rose Joyner.
And we're going to get started, I guess, talking about that video. It was so good.
Awesome.
I had never heard that video before, and I was
Really?
like, to tell everybody to, I told my sister-in-law, I'm like, I just heard the best talk ever. It was so good.
Yeah, I love that talk. I've actually listened to it several different times for different classes, and I love it every single time. I just love it. It's awesome.
Yeah. I couldn't remember. I thought I know I had heard it, but I thought it was a general conference talk. And then when I saw that it was a devotional, I was like, oh, okay. I didn't remember.
Yeah.
How old, do you know how old it is? When did he give that? I felt like it was so recent. I mean, I don't know. I was just thinking it was.
I don't remember.
I think it was just like a couple years ago. No?
Oh, okay.
It's not super old or anything.
Yeah.
All right, so we can go through the questions. What are the threats to children and families?
Who's going to take notes today? I think Becky did it last week, didn't you, Becky?
Yeah.
I can do it.
Okay. Sounds good.
We just need to take notes for our own answers for the questions we go through. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so as far as the threats to children, what threats did you, Elder Holland, mention, and how has Babylon influenced the development of the threat to children and families that you have chosen to address? I thought some of the threats that I saw like threats of making excuses, like at the basketball game, like it's just a game, and checking your religion at the door, and then the threats of neglect and abuse and judgments of others. Do you guys have any other?
Yeah, I think just not being a disciple at all times. Like he was saying in Young Women's, we say every single week, like, that we're going to stand for these things anywhere, like at all times, at all places, and all things. And just like that, sometimes it might be easier for some people just to, like you said, to check the religion at the door, but it shouldn't be like that.
So maybe laziness, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I also wrote down making judgments about people, because we don't always know their whole story. So.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I think that some of the other threats are families ignore the problems too. They kind of just get ignored.
Yeah.
And then the threats kind of get turned around on you, like the very threats that are threatening to us, they kind of get turned around, like judgment, like judging, like how he talked a lot about judging, like, oh, don't judge me, but we do have to make righteous judgments for like our safety. And
he did even talk about that too. You're not just going to let a child go off with some stranger. You have to make some type of judgment call. And
yeah, so we have to make judgments.
Just making sure it's a righteous judgment.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, he said something really great about the righteous judgment being. What was it? It was so good. We need to take a position. We are not. He said we are not called to condemn others, but we have to make decisions. They're to be righteous judgments, not self-righteous judgment.
Right. Yeah.
I like that, because there's a difference when you're trying to be self-righteous or not. There's
definitely. Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I was just thinking about the second question that's in that first set, I guess. How has Babylon influenced the development of the threat to children and families? So I was just thinking that, there's a lot of people who perpetuate those type of threats, or who show them, or like they're in TV programming and different things that kids see. And so I think it's really up to us as a parent to children to make sure that they understand the difference in what's okay and what's not, and just because they see it in a movie or on a show or even in the real world that somebody does these types of things, that it's not okay for us to do that same thing.
Right. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we don't want kids to be like, oh, they're doing it. It's okay. Because as long as they're, yeah.
Right. And that's their excuse a lot of time. Well, Bobby did this at school, and yeah, but that doesn't make it right. So we need to make sure that we're teaching our children the right things from the wrong things. So
Yes. Good thought.
Yeah.
Okay, should we move on to the next question, or anyone else have anything else to say?
I think we're ready to move on.
All right. I'm trying to find the question. Someone want to read it?
I've got it in front of me. Okay. How does Elder Holland's description of Babylon and Israel coincide with defending the doctrine of the family in these latter days?
All right, I was just taking notes. Okay.
When he was talking about Babylon, it started reminding me, there's a talk by, I think it was Elder Maxwell, but he's quoting someone else in his talks. I don't remember who it was that actually said it. But he was talking about Babylon and stuff, and the hymn, and he said that a lot of the time some of us are like, oh Babylon, we bid thee farewell, but we still keep a little summer cottage in Babylon. And so I feel like it was like kind of the same of like what he was saying, like, if we're gonna abandon Babylon, like it has to, like, we can't just keep on going back and like keep on going back, like you said, with the little summer cottage. But it's something that if we do it, it's a decision that we have to make. And like obviously it's hard and sometimes we do fall back, but like to always try and stay on that path and try and remember, like, okay, this is what I chose to do, and I know what the blessings that come from it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good point, because I think we all have our little pet sins, I guess you could call them, things that we don't want to let go of. And in order to leave Babylon, I think that's a really good point. You got to even let go of those little things that you don't want to sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that one question that was like, let's see, where's that question? Oh, it was like, what are we willing to, or maybe that was for my other class. Sorry. You're all the same. Like, no, just kidding.
They blend together sometimes.
You're kind of talking about the same thing. I mean, you have the major, the classes.
Right.
Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say. I kind of lost my thought. Well, okay, so should we just go on to the next question?
Sounds good.
Okay, so what characteristic and attributes did Elder Holland expound on that will make us more effective family advocates? Elder Holland expounded on being brave and just doing it because we love the Lord and not just because we want to pretend and show other people, I guess, and not compromising the commandments or even making it look like we are compromising them. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I try to talk like I'm not all that. Like I'm kind of I want people to think that I'm kind of like a fence sitter, so I don't get some hard calling or something, I don't want them to think that I'm that like all committed. Well, I am. I know I am, but we can't. We got to make it look like we are what we are. We're good.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts when he said that. He said, we're not bound to say all we believe always. Like, it's not like we have to be preaching it all the time and everything. But we are always bound to never look like we believe something we don't. And that, I feel like, sometimes can be easy to do, just because like we might be scared, or we might think that like, oh, like we don't want someone to think this, or we don't want, I don't know. But it's not like we have to be saying all the time what it is that we believe, but we should always show it. Like, that should never be something that someone questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just writing this down. Okay. Anything else on that one?
I was just thinking one of the things he said that I really liked is he said, no true disciple of Christ can check his religion at the door. And so I think, it's really important for us, like you were saying, Becky, that we make sure that we don't allow people to think something about us that's not true. Like if we're in a group of people and somebody said something and it's not what we believe, maybe we need to stand up and say, that's not what I believe, or that's not true, in this case, or whatever. But I think sometimes it's easy just to, go with the flow or go with the crowd or whatever and not stand up and say something. But I think that we do need to stand up and make sure that people know where we stand.
And just not just doing it just because, everyone, like, not just doing it because, everyone else in the ward keeps the Sabbath day holy and they don't play soccer on Sunday. And so I don't want anyone else to see that I'm doing that, but we want to do it because that's what we want to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not doing it because we care what other people think. We want to do it for the right reason. I don't know.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, that's what he said. He said the commandments don't only matter. What is it? Commandments don't only matter if the public is in agreement. Like, they matter all the time, no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, and he said something about, like, when the Lord comes, I want him to catch me doing something, like, good. Like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't remember exactly what he said, but it was something.
Yeah.
He's like, I hope I'm caught trying to be
doing like service or something.
Yeah. I have to see if I wrote it. Like when the Lord comes, he wants the Lord to say, I know you not by your title, like of being a general authority, but by your life and the standards you're trying to live.
Right.
Because truly, he's the one, he truly knows our heart. He knows we can't fake it to Heavenly Father. So
there's no way.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yeah. Okay, and then anyone else have anything else to add onto that one?
I don't think so.
Okay. So the next one would be, according to what you have learned from Elder Holland's talk, what obligation, if any, do you have in a scenario like the one in the video below? I think we have the obligation to be bold and brave and not be scared to be outgoing and stretch out of our comfort zone. We have to do things we don't want to do all the time, I think.
Right.
One of our obligations.
Well, one of the first people that talked to them after the exchange between the father and son gave them the reference card for the LDS Family Services to help with that, which I thought was awesome. And then the camera crew came in and they talked to him a little bit about it, and they still didn't back it down, from what they had said before. They said, this is what we believe in, this is how it is with us. And they didn't back down from their beliefs, which I really appreciated, because they were like, do you remember he was saying, do you think that it's possible to be born that way?
Oh yeah.
And the guy was like, no, I don't think it's possible to be born that way. And he stuck to what he was saying.
Oh, you're talking about that video with the 2020.
What would you do?
Yeah.
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 That was always
I thought that was pretty awesome. But I also like that in each exchange, they, they recognized that the guy was the dad was upset, surely, but they also told him, you need to try to love him. He's your son. And I think like everybody told him that, yeah, it's hard, but you need to love him. You need to try to look past that. Which is, I mean, if I was in that same situation, I think that's what I would do. Yeah, I'd try to get them help too, but I would love them no matter what their choice is.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying we need to love everybody no matter what, huh?
Definitely.
Yeah. And I think that nobody really knows what they're going to do in a certain situation like that. You really don't know. You kind of think, oh my gosh, no, I would slap the slap the gay out of them or whatever, But when it really comes down to it, and it is someone that you love,
mm-hmm.
It's really difficult, and you have to love them because that's what Christ would do.
Right.
Yeah. And I feel like it's hard to to be those outsiders, like they were like just watching the scenario. Like it's hard to think, because I think it's easy to be like, oh, I would do this, I would say this and stuff. But then when it actually happens and you're actually there, like you start thinking like, should I really get involved? Because it is between the father and the son, And so you start thinking all these things, and like, I don't know. Then I feel like it's when it really gets tricky.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and it can be really hard to try to love people that are jerks. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's true. I mean, because my brother, he came out of the closet after he had gone on a mission and got married in the temple, and has 4 children now, and now he left his wife for another man. And it's really hard to sometimes love him because he can be a jerk, and it's not just because of his gayness or whatever. He's a good guy, but and I love him, but he's right nuts, and sometimes it's just so hard because I'm just like, but I have to. But being kind and nice to him, it benefits his children. It benefits his ex-wife, my sister-in-law, and it helps. The nicer and kinder I am to him, the better it helps him to be better. You know what I'm saying? So we really need to try our hardest to be kind and accepting of people.
That's true, because I think that's what Christ would do, because we're all entitled to our agency, and Christ always loved everyone. Even when he was upset with them or he didn't agree with them, he still showed love and compassion towards them.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Yeah, and even just to put yourself in their place, if that was you, how would you want to be treated?
Yeah. Well, that's got to be a hard thing to tell somebody too, especially if you know that they don't approve of your choice.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It was hard. When my brother came out, he came out to, his wife had known for a couple years, and she was the only one that had known for a couple years. And then when he came out to my sister and I, that we were the next people he told, and that was really, really, really hard for him. And it's like my heart was breaking for him because he's crying and he doesn't want this. He hated to have this trial, basically. This life it's basically a life trial, and that's a hard one. And so,
right.
It's kind of I don't know if I can. I don't know. It's just really hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could handle that trial. You know what I mean? That's what I was.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm just, it's just such a hard thing.
Yeah.
So because he did want to have the gospel, and he wanted to have a family, and he wanted that whole that perfect picture of the family and everything. He wanted that, but just the thing he just couldn't hold on to, keeping it going on for all these years. It was just really difficult. So
yeah.
Anyway, anything else on that one?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Okay. So the last one was, if you were a customer at this restaurant, and observed this father and son exchange, what principles or attributes did Elder Holland teach that would guide your response? Because we were just basically just talking about that.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and I just have it. They're still human beings with feelings and heavenly. Oh yeah, the one good thing that I really liked was they are all sons and daughters of Heavenly Father, and He loves them so much. He loves them as much as or more than I love my own kids, and they are somebody else's daughter or son. You know, my mom is the mother of him, and she's a wonderful person, and she's, you know what I mean. So these people love him. We need to love them too, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well, plus we don't know what's going on, you know, in their brains or in their bodies or whatever that's making them feel that way either. Did you know up until the 70s it was classified as a mental disorder to have same-sex attraction?
Oh yeah, and
It was.
Yeah.
And then they did this movement, those who have the same-sex attraction did this movement to try to get it off the books as a mental disorder. So now it's not listed as a mental disorder, but it was.
I think
So
it
I
actually
think it is
still is in
too.
some states. Some states still have it on the books, though.
Do they?
Really?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I learned that, it made a lot of sense to me that it's some type of, I don't know. To me, it makes sense that it would be some type of chemical imbalance in the brain or something. I don't know how to explain it, but that something's not quite right there. You know?
I think I don't know. I don't necessarily believe that people were born that way. I think that environmental situations, maybe they are born. We don't know. I just think the answer is we don't know, and there are just some things
That's right. We really just
we have to just wait and trust in the Lord. We will find these things out. It'll be okay, and yeah, we just don't know. But can you imagine being like, what, like you said, 20 years ago, when it's like listed as a mental illness, and no one wants to like tell everyone I have a mental illness, and it just is such a bad stigma. And can you imagine just like how the shame and the embarrassment and the like, oh, having to deal with that, especially back then. And now it's so like everyone in high school, the high school kids they're so proud of it, and just, you know, it's so much different now.
Yeah,
It is.
totally different.
There's definitely a different world view on it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
Well, that's what I
right.
was saying. All we can really do is love.
yeah, I think that's the most important thing to come away from this with is, you know, we all have struggles and we all have trials, whether it's that or whether it's something else, and we all just need, you know, some love and some understanding from people around us. So
Yeah.
Right. And I think like love is just basically the ultimate. Everything comes down to love if you think about it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
it does.
Yeah. All right. You probably have to go, Rose, huh?
Yep, I got to get going pretty soon. I think at the end of these, we're supposed to do a quick summary of what we said, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go ahead and go through our summary. We talked about the threats of the family that Elder Holland had talked about, and how Babylon influenced the development of the threat to children and families. And we talked about laziness, judgments, and then judging other people who are judgmental. But then how it kind of gets turned. It's been turned around sometimes to where judgments start to be. Sorry, I get lost track of what I'm trying to say. They get turned around to be like you're being judgmental. And then we talked about Rose talked about being an example to our children. Was that you, Rose? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Being an example to our kids. And it was like not judging self-righteously, but judging righteously. That's what we were talking about. And then how Elder Holland's description of Babylon of Israel coincided with defending the doctrine of the family in these latter days. And I liked how, sorry, I just lost track of Susan. Is it Susan? Oh my gosh, what's your name?
Becky?
Becky. Sorry, I just went on blank. So I like how Becky said that it was keeping a little not keeping a little cottage in Babylon, but like keeping our little things that we like to do. But and we want when the Heavenly Father comes, you're thinking it. We want to have him being righteous and doing what's right, and not for our titles, not for who we are to impress other people, but for who we really are in our hearts, because we can't fake who we are to Heavenly Father no matter what. And that's one of the characteristics and attribute that Elder Holland was expounding on, to help us become more effective family advocates, is just being true to ourselves and not trying to impress people. And let's see, we should always want to keep the commandments. We want to do it because we want to, and not because we're pressured into it or we want to look good or whatever. And no true disciple will check their religion at the door. We always need to be living our religion. It's important. Let's see, and we talked about what obligations that we have. In the scenario, and we talked about that we have the obligation to be bold and brave and do things that we might not always want to do, and we can become brave by just having compassion and doing it in love. And love is very powerful, and if you feel love towards another person, it's easier to talk to them, and if they know that you love them, you can almost say anything that you want. You really can, right or wrong, because like I was talking about my brother, he knows our family loves him. He's gay. He knows we love him. We can almost say anything we want, but he knows that it's okay though. We can say things because he knows we genuinely love him.
Yeah.
Even though it can be hard sometimes, and even when it's hard, we have to try our best. And then the scenario, we talked about the scenario at the restaurant. And that we should reach out. And anything else you guys have to say?
I think that's pretty good.
I think that's wrapped up pretty much. That's good. So, Rose, you'll be able to post this for us?
Yes, I will.
Awesome. Okay, and then I'll post the little comment thing a little bit later. I don't have time right now. I have to go get ready for the day.
No, you're fine.
All right.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait for next week. What time? What time do we want to meet next week?
Oh yeah.
Can we do it early again? Like 9:15 again?
9:15?
Yes.
Because I have one more doctor's appointment for my mother-in-law, and then we should be good. I won't make any more on Thursdays.
Okay.
No, it's
And then,
fine. 9:15 is good.
Are you okay with that, Becky? Okay, Becky, do you want to host? Or I might be able to, or you can do it. You can do it. I'll do it next time. Unless the other girl, Susan, is that her name?
Sure.
Or that's someone else in my class.
Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I have like too many other groups. Okay. I'll talk to you guys later. See you next week.
See you next
Bye.
week. Bye.
Okay, bye.